Hello, this is the Crazy Counselor, and today we're going to talk about gaslighting and what that means. I know that we are hearing that term everywhere. We're hearing it or seeing it on social media, we're hearing it in the news, we're reading about it everywhere. And so I just wanted to bring some clarity about what gaslighting means. Okay, first of all, the term gaslighting came from a very old film in which there was a husband and a wife. I think it's in like black and white. It might have been made in like the 30s, but it's about a husband and wife, and the husband literally tries to make the wife think that she is going insane. Like, for instance, he like set the lighting in the house, the gas lights, so to speak, to where they would change or they would flicker. And when she would say something about it, he would say, "No, that's not happening. It's all in your imagination. Like, the lights aren't flickering. There's nothing happening. You're just like imagining that, right?" When in reality, that's what was really happening because he had set it up that way. And so gaslighting it came from that film. And, there were a bunch of other things that he did in the film to try to literally make her think that she was insane. But the reason for it was manipulation. Because if he could make her think that she was going insane and inevitably question things that she would see with her own eyes or things that she would hear with her own ears, then he could really manipulate and control her because basically she couldn't believe anything that she was seeing or hearing. And she, in essence had to rely on him to confirm or deny her reality. Can you imagine how that would be to have your ability to see a situation, to hear something, to see something, and to judge it correctly, to have that at the mercy of someone else who does not have your best interest at heart? I mean, that can be devastating at best, and it can also be very damaging to you mentally and emotionally. And so what that looks like, especially when we talk about emotional and psychological abuse, is that is a person, either male or female, because it can happen with anyone, but that is a person literally using gaslighting or making a person question their reality for their own gain, for manipulation. And this is especially true when we talk about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, which we're going to do some segments on that as well. So stay tuned for that. But it is especially prevalent when we talk about emotional and psychological abuse, because what happens is the perpetrator or the abuser causes the victim to question their reality. And if a person can cause you to question your reality, then they've really got you, because you will be at the mercy of that person and their manipulation. What usually happens also is that there is a brain fog that a lot of victims or survivors of gaslighting experience, because it is traumatic for you to see something with your own eyes or hear something with your own ears, and for somebody to tell you that didn't really happen. Oh no, you didn't really see that. You didn't really hear that. Can you imagine how traumatic that is? Also, one of the side effects of gaslighting is doubting your own intuition. It can cause you to question, that thing that we call it discernment, but it's one of God's gifts that we have to be able to judge what's right, to judge, what's going on, to judge when we're in danger. And so for someone to be able to strip that away from you, what they're saying is, hey, you can't trust your intuition. You can't trust the very thing that you were equipped with to protect you, because it's wrong. So basically the message that gives, or the belief system that's built, is I cannot trust myself. I can't trust what I see. I can't trust what I hear. I can't trust what I believe. I can't trust my judgment. That can literally break a person down mentally and emotionally, and it can cause a lot of anxiety. I know that for me, when I've experienced this personally, a few years ago, it was very traumatic because after coming out of the situation and realizing what had happened, I had to literally build back up the ability to trust myself. I had to build back up the ability to, when my intuition was telling me that there was danger or something wasn't right, I had to build up the ability to trust myself again, to trust that intuition, that God given, we call it like, something just don't feel right. Yeah, that thing is never wrong, ever. It's never misled me, ever in life. I'm sure a lot of you can agree with that. But gaslighting it literally erodes your ability to trust that. And so for people coming out of this situation, they have to build that back up. And it is anxiety provoking. Like I said, going back to that brain fog, anytime we're in a traumatic situation, we can go through what's called a dissociation. That's where your brain can literally almost just go to another place, and it's a protective mechanism because your brain is too overwhelmed, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, this is way too much. I can't process all of this right now, so I need to think about something else so that because this is just way too overwhelming. And so that's where we get that brain fog. And I've also talked to a lot of survivors of narcissistic abuse, and one thing that they tell me, and I've even experienced it, is how debilitating the brain fog can be, because you literally feel like you are in a dream. You literally feel like you're watching yourself from a distance, or like you are, you're driving down the street, but you're like, am I really driving down the street? Like, what's really happening right now? And it is scary. It's a very scary thing, but it's also a protective mechanism because, again, gaslighting is very traumatic. And so your brain does that, a slight dissociation, so that it can protect you because, feeling like your ability to trust your intuition, your ability to make judgments, your ability to protect yourself is gone, or feeling like you can't depend on that, is very traumatic. And so your brain is like, whoa, I can't process all of this. And so you come into that brain fog. There's healing there's healing after that. So the brain fog does disappear. I'm a witness to that. Thank God. But it takes that healing process. It takes, when you're in those situations, grounding and being present in a safe space with a therapist or what have you, someone that you trust, to be able to literally ground yourself and to be able to talk out and talk through that brain fog, so that you can again get to a place where your brain says, okay, we're safe. So it's okay to be here because we're safe. Okay. And so, again, when we talk about gaslighting, it all goes back to manipulation. It all goes back to deliberately causing a person to question their reality, to question what they're seeing with their own eyes, and to question what they're even hearing with their own ears. And it's all for manipulation. Like I said, it can be very traumatic. And so if you've experienced gaslighting and you are in that brain fog and you're like, will this ever end? Yes, it will. It can. But you have to be very intentional, again, about your healing, because that is a defense mechanism that your brain is built up basically to protect you, because gaslighting is overwhelming. To the person experiencing it, it is very overwhelming. Okay? And so I hope that this video has helped to clarify what gaslighting is. It's definitely no small thing. It is emotional and psychological abuse. It is very toxic, and it can be very debilitating. And so if you are experiencing this, I would encourage you to seek support, especially if you're going through that brain fog. If you're coming out of this and you're experiencing that brain fog and you didn't have any language for what you were going through, and if you are seeing a therapist, I would encourage you to let your therapist know that that's what you're experiencing, so that you guys can start to develop some coping skills to be able to help to ground you and to get you back to hopefully what will be a place of feeling safe, because gaslighting makes you feel very unsafe. And so we want to always make sure that we're getting back to a place of safety. So I hope that this video was helpful. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about many more issues that are related to all things mental health. And so I hope that this is helpful. Please drop me a line in the comments below. Let me know how this helped you. Share with family, friends, coworkers. You know, catch the replay, watch it 10 times, whatever you need to do in order to be able to help yourself as well as help those who are around you. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.